Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Expansion Pack podcast, where we download this week's content and bring it to you. As always, I'm your host, Danzel, aka Black Ice 8, joined on the 21st episode with my amazing co-host here. Starting off with Manny, aka Goopmaster Flex. Say what's up to the people, bro.
I usually say stay gooping, but since 21st episode, we're gonna be savages today, yo.
Okay, all right. 21.
Okay. It went over my head for a second. I was like, savages.
Chris is like, huh?
Okay. All right, I got it.
All right. Well, now Chris has joined to the party here, so now we're on the same page, Chris. Say hi to the people.
Yep. What's going on, folks? Damn it, all the X's. We're here. Games.
Yeah, big week this week. A lot of game news, a lot of random stuff. Honestly, a lot of stuff that we probably aren't even going to get to cover in this episode, but a lot happened this week. Pretty interesting. But before we get into all the stuff that went on, before we get into our topics, start off with what we're all playing. So, Chris, I'm gonna let you start this time.
I'm not even gonna hold you today, or not today, but yesterday. I decided, why not? Let me play Alan Wake again for the first time in ever.
Hey.
So,
classic.
Started playing it. I got maybe like an hour and a half into it, and I'm like, man, I cannot get over enough. This might even be a future icebreaker, like a year down the road when we forget that we had this conversation, but it's got to be up there for like one of the most furthest ahead of its time games ever, bro. Like, that shit is crazy, man. Like, even some of like the way how they do the sequencing and how like Remedy has a very they got a good way of going about how they do their visuals. I don't know what it is specifically, but it's nice, because then even after I was playing that, I played Control for a little bit too for the first time. So I was like, well, they said a lot of the assets from Alan Wake were brought over and blah, blah, blah. So try it out. And even that game, I'm playing it and I'm getting through a little bit of it. And I'm like, yo, even if I didn't like the gunplay, even if I didn't like how the game was like unfolding, the way how they're setting up the visuals and how they go from chapter to chapter. And it's kind of like how they do in some movies where it's just like a hard cut to a new scene and they put like the letters up really quickly. And then like, I am here for those kind of aesthetics in video games. I think it worked very well so far in the game in terms of just the pacing. It makes it, man, I like it a lot, man. I can't even try to lie. It's really nice. We'll see how I feel about the rest of the game later, but so far so good. And then good old Destiny, that goddamn dead man's. Folks, if you don't have that gun, and if you do have it and you ain't done the Catalyst quest, blood clot, go do it, man. Telling you, man, you missing out right now on probably one of the top 10 best guns they've ever made ever. I'm not even trying to, it's that good, man. It is. Ooh, I'm thinking they're going to nerf it. I'm being serious. I'm thinking they're going to nerf it. The reason why people don't complain yet is because the 25-minute, or if they do, getting the Catalyst isn't kind of like easy. You know what I'm saying? You kind of have to go in there and do it. But once more people have that in their hands, and you have to deal with people in the Crucible with that on a everyday basis, yeah, it's gonna. Ooh, boy.
I think that's a large part of why I actually don't think it's going to get nerfed because of that reason. I don't think that many people. All right. How many attempts did it take us to finally get through that mission? And it's not something that you can matchmake. Like, it's not every Joe Schmo is going to just hop in there and actually be able to do what it takes to get that mission done in 25 minutes. So,
facts. True. I mean, and then I think about it too. When I think about how often, all right, back in the day, everybody had Whisper. Whisper was one of those guns everybody somehow managed to get somehow. Outbreak, not so much though. You only seen like a handful of folks running around with that weapon, let alone the Catalyst Masterwork version of it. So I can see what you're saying for sure. But if they happen to get it, yeah, I don't know, bro. If like more than half the community gets their hands on this weapon, I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say is I don't know. There's no reason to use a sniper. There's no reason to even use a pulse rifle at this point. This gun is better than almost all of them. No hyperbole. If you don't believe me, go get it. That's all I'm gonna say. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
That gun is wild, yo. It's cracked. Cracked, yo. It's all gun's cracked, brah.
Right, that Destiny, my guy.
It's cracked, brah.
Are you playing anything else?
I don't think so. No.
You ain't gonna tell people about your freaking clutch ass Warzone moment? You and DJ?
Oh shit, I forgot about that. We did play some Warzone.
Yeah.
Oh man, alright, so guys, context. It was your boy, it was Black Ice, it was DJ aka Martin aka DJ, and it was PCP aka Poppy Con Poppy.
Poppy, oh goodness.
We was out here getting it. Caught a dub. I don't know how we did that because it happened to be just me and DJ last two at the end, and then I fell, and then DJ had to clutch up at the end, and Mans pulled it off.
It was a great win. I was
It was a good one. It was a good one.
I was nervous as hell. I'm not gonna lie. And I was like screwed him. I'm like, yo, Chris, upright. And then I was like, push. Like we were just yelling instructions. And it sucks to be like at the end game of a match like that and like be the one just sitting there watching it all happen. But
yeah,
you guys pulled it off. It was good. It was a good one.
Yeah, it was
nice.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Got a taste of the Warzone clutchness. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, DJ was hype after that too.
Hell yeah, he was.
He was a little bit of a high for like 20 minutes.
Oh, shout out to DJ. Shout out to Papi con Papi. It was a good match. Good match for sure.
It really was.
But Manny, let you go, man. What were you playing this week?
Well, it's been a little light, but I played some Warzone, of course. No successful wins for me, sadly. But but also picked up a copy of Marvel Avengers. It was half off because of the whole Square Enix event. You know, shout out to that. Played a little bit of it. It's all right. You know, it's all right for $30. But you know, I played that as well. And then I also one day I was just bored and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna download an old like game on the PS2 emulator that I have. It's called Spy Hunter. And I don't know why, but that game brought back so much memories for no reason because like it was just like one of those OPS2 games I used to play as a kid, and I used to be so bad at the game because I didn't know what I was doing. But it's like I said, now I don't know what I'm doing, but the game is so cheesy but fun. So like, yeah, I was played a little bit of that, and I'm like, yo, they should just bring back Spy Hunter, even though they'll never do that. But like, I really enjoyed playing it. The game is like. I will play like a couple hours of it, but other than that, those are obviously my picks of this week for games that I played.
Okay, word. For me, there's definitely going to be some overlap between both of you guys, really. A lot of Destiny early in the week because we finally got a chance to bang out that Master Presage quest. So I have the Dead Man's Tale catalyst like Chris was talking about. Thank God, because oh my God, I was starting to lose faith that we were ever going to get that done.
It was wild.
Yeah, it was wild. It took us forever to get everybody together to do it.
Down to the last like 10 seconds, people. Like literally.
Yeah, that was another one of those clutch moments. I think I jumped up in there with the sword, and then you finished him off with your sword, and then
oh my God, it was bugged.
It was amazing. So yeah, had a lot of fun with that. As Manny mentioned, the Avengers game went on sale. I actually already had it. But I decided to, upgrade to the next gen version and start playing around with it on my Series X. And I was one of the few people who actually did enjoy the game beforehand. I fully admit that it's not what it should have been, but I have fun with certain missions. Like I actually, since the next gen patch hit, I got to a point in the story where you play as Black Widow, I really, really, really enjoy playing as Black Widow. Like she is badass, and I like the beat 'em up style of it. It kind of reminds me of uh Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It reminds me of
Mm.
that, but like they tried to make it like Destiny, and you know, like it is what it is. Like I don't know if they're necessarily going to nail the service model stuff, and we'll definitely get into that a little bit later because spoiler alert, it's one of our topics for the week. But yeah, I'm having fun with the game. I love that now it's like in 60 frames, you know, still 4K 60 frames with the highest performance setting on, and it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. So yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much all I've been playing this week. And then of course the Warzone dub we had, but that was probably like 2 games that we had played.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so moving on. Birdman hands, you know.
Oh,
Getting on to the next thing here, Chris. Take it away, man.
Damn, I can't even move like that. All right, so a little context, y'all. I moved my camera, so if I get all wild and do all my shit, it's gonna blur me out. I'm still doing it anyways. God damn it. See my arm getting all. Ah. All right, y'all. It's time to get busy. For the icebreaker of the week, question is, hypothetically speaking, because we know this would never happen, unless you're in Black Mirror or something. Say for whatever reason you got transported into a video game. You hit the ground and you stand up because everybody does that. It's they look up, where am I? Oh, and then they stand up all straight up. They're looking around and then they just realizing that they just stepped in some shit. So you get into this video game and you literally res right at the beginning of the final boss fight. Right? Question is, if you had a choice to bring one character from any video game that you were really loyal to, they were loyal to you, they held you down, what's the one character that you would bring in there to have your back that would make you feel like if I brought this dude in there with me, or this girl or woman with me, or creature with me, that I would get out of this alive? Who's that one character that really would give you some confidence? Like, this is the homie. Oh, all right, let's. Y'all want no smoke? You walking up in there like whatever. Who's the one character? Y'all like me to start this off, or y'all think y'all got answers already?
I got answers, but you can start it off. It's your question.
All right. So if it's me, and I got to choose one ride or die to help me get through this boss fight, believe it or not, I gotta go with my homie Boone from Fallout New Vegas.
Okay.
Yo, listen, I told you it's left field.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody has to say. Real ones know. Boone is hands down the best companion I've ever had in any video game. Bruh. It was so many situations that I found myself in that I was about to die. I ain't had no stim packs. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had nothing. What they call them? Death claws?
Yep.
Those evil creatures trying to rip me apart. And this is it. I'm done. Who's behind my shoulder? Sniping. Taking heads off. Ooh. Boone. Yo, you know how many times I done forgot about Boone? And you know how you could leave your NPC sometimes when they get stuck?
Yeah.
And then like they don't catch up to you for a while? Bro, tell me how this man's every time I'm like, yo, this is my last days. My brother gonna have to reload his checkpoint. Oh, damn. Here come Boone. Not today, friend. Not today. I look over like a damsel in distress. Oh, Boone. I got it. And I said, God damn it, Boone. You are the guy. The guy. I'm telling you, man, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. He held it down. There was times where, you know how you could send the companion back to and be like, yo, I don't need your help no more, yo. I'm good. think I got this. There's times I done sent home back, and I'm out here solo, and I caught myself in a bad situation. Some raiders on my bumper. Look to my right. I know you told me to go back, but I got you.
Oh my god! This guy.
God, man.
Has a love affair with Boone.
Man, not like that. Super pause. But I'm just saying, man, this dude was loyal and he was always with the bullets. All right.
Okay.
Boone, yo. Best companion ever.
Word. All right.
Easy.
Shout out to Boone.
Damn. That was random and out of left field. Manny, who you got, bro?
All right. Hopefully this doesn't, ain't the same as you done, so probably not. But my man Kratos, we talking about the God of War. Come on, this man took down the whole Olympus by himself. And we're talking about if I need somebody to help me out in a boss battle situation, I'm hitting my boy up Kratos. He out here in Asgard chilling. But what I'm saying, he'll come through easily, help out the goop.
Easily?
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about easily. You don't think he'll put up some fight? Like, if you just hit him up like, yo, Kratos, come do this.
I call Kratos, tell him to come through. He'll just take him out. You know what I'm saying? He be taking out God, so you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be like, oh, it's another light day in the field. You can't tell me Kratos ain't the man.
Kratos always wants to smoke, bro.
He do, but like, I feel like on his own accord. Like, if somebody just hit him up and was like, yo, Kratos, come do this. What? Like, I don't think he would do it.
He'll be like, boy. If Kratos was right there, by my side, and he was my companion, you already know Kratos was gonna give him the hands. He'll run him as fair one. You know what I'm saying? That's why if Kratos is my man, I have to go with him easily. I just think he's just the man.
He is. He was definitely one of the people I was thinking about for my pick. And there's definitely an assumption that like whoever you call, they're gonna have. You don't have to do any convincing; they're just gonna show up, right? So, I get why Chris said what he said because Kratos definitely got his own motivations.
He just got an attitude, bro.
Yeah.
He just
my pick, kind of adjacent in a way, but I'm gonna have to go with the Doomslayer, bro. He's somebody that I could call up and just let him go to work. I'm gonna just pull up a chair. Sit, put my feet up. Like, you got this? Yeah. Okay, bet.
We're going from killing gods to destroying demons.
This man made his way through hell and back. Shit, I ain't picking nobody else.
That is hilarious. Yeah.
He's just a one-man wrecking crew, bro. He don't need no help. He don't need no luck. God. It's just him, funny. His guns, the BFG, the big fucking gun, and that's it, bro. That's all he needs. He's good. He's good to go.
He got a gun called the BFG.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna front. That's kind of hard, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's hard. That's hard.
He's good to go. Doomslayer is that man, bro. Man made his way through hell and back.
See, we got our picks, you know what I'm saying? That's the fire team right there. You got Doomslayer, and Demon Killer, whatever. And
you always gotta have one dude that has no powers, and that's Boone. that's
but Boone sniping, he good to go.
Boone just out here, he got the accuracy. That's about it.
He just sitting back. I got you. On your left.
Real.
Good.
Got your 6.
That's a good fire team. Boom. I like that.
Boom. So it's with Haji Baji.
Oh man. Okay. I like that, guys. Thank you for that, Icebreaker Chris. Good answers there. As always, guys, let us know what your answers are for the icebreaker down in the comments below, or hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. Let us know what you guys think about that one. But we're gonna get into the topics for this week. So start off with a little bit of Sony news here. So looks like they partnered with a company called RTS, which probably a terrible name in my opinion. Because if you go and search that, which I tried to do, you search that company up and they're super hard to find. All you do when you search up RTS is what you would think. and is just finding a whole bunch of real-time strategy games. So that was super annoying. But anyways, Sony partnered with this company called RTS to actually purchase and acquire what they call Evolution Championship Series, or EVO for short, what everybody knows as the EVO fighting tournament. So they typically have Street Fighter there, Super Smash Brothers, so on and so forth. So like the kind of the biggest name in fighting tournaments is now a part of Sony, which is kind of weird, but definitely an interesting place to start for our topics this week, because I feel like it kind of flows into the randomness of all the different things that we're talking about. But yeah, apparently there's been a lot of controversy around the EVO series as of late. Obviously, last year's event got canceled due to COVID, and also there was some allegations that came out about one of the organizers, having some like sexual abuse allegations in a sense. So, due to the fact that COVID kind of canceled everything, due to the fact that the abuse allegations were coming about, a lot of publishers pulled their games out from the sponsorships of EVO. Nintendo being one of them, actually. Their situation is a little bit more specific, just because the conversation around EVO, because of COVID and them trying to switch over to an online format, they decided that they wanted to pull Super Smash Brothers out of the game, or out of the tournament, I should say, because it's not necessarily suited to online play, or online tournament play, I should say, because the netcode, Nintendo didn't feel comfortable, supporting the game in that format, so they pulled the game out. And we all know about Nintendo and their online play, so can't say we're too surprised there. But a couple other studios as well. I think NetherRealms pulled their game as well. So I don't think Mortal Kombat is part of EVO due to some of the abuse allegations. So it's interesting to see that Sony went ahead and bought them. I would have to assume that acquiring them was probably much cheaper because of all of this controversy around them. But I'm just curious what you guys think about this. So Manny, I'll get your take on it first.
Yeah, and I just want to correct you. So Mortal Kombat actually will be there, and like the tournament lineup was Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, Mortal Kombat 11, and Guilty Gear. It's nothing will ever be the same as like it being, in person, obviously, because like you got the crowd and everything like that, and the people there. Whereas like where it's online, it's like, all right, the only thing hyping you up is like the Twitch chat, or like, if they do like a Zoom meeting type of thing where you're just like in a room with other people, then I might be a little different. But I'm, like Sony buying it kind of makes sense. Well, because like, they're just. We know Sony for like Street Fighter, and then like Tekken, when like Tekken first came out, was like for the PS2, like I believe, or like the PlayStation, and so them to capitalize on this, we know like the fighting community isn't like as big as it used to, but like there's still a fan base and everything like that, and with like the allegations that kind of like ruined them last year when they tried to do their online tournament. Sony tried to like basically bring them back up. I think it's a good job on their part. Sadly, we won't get as much games like you mentioned, Super Smash Brothers, and I'm sure there's other games definitely that are missing from this list. But I just like I said, it's a good way to support the fighting community, and I really can't wait to see how this goes. Like the article mentions, even like anybody can really just sign up and try to play. Now, if you get far in it, that's a different question, because there's going to be sweats there, but
about the best of the best, yeah.
Best of the best.
So I will say this, and I do appreciate you correcting me on this. It looks like last year NetherRealms pulled out. NetherRealms, Capcom, Bandai Namco, they all pulled out because of the abuse allegation. So it looks like, to your point, they came back this year. Maybe because of Sony, maybe, they hadn't played a hand in convincing them or whatnot. But yeah, you're right. Looks like this year, they will have Tekken, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat, and Guilty Gear. Good little lineup there for sure.
Definitely. We'll definitely be tuning in, because like why not? I like to see some fighting games. I used to watch a lot of like Tekken tournaments, like with Evo and everything like that. Smash too, but like I said, sadly Smash isn't there. So I'm definitely still excited to see like the Tekken and Mortal Kombat aspect of it. Yeah.
Chris, what do you think about this, man?
I don't know. I'm not really too high or too low on it. I think it's cool for a couple of reasons that I think are more long term rather than like what it actually is now. Because like for example, because you know Manny mentioned the fact that the crowds aren't there, so it kind of sucks that they're doing a lot of it online. Whereas in my opinion, I kind of feel like the only things that should kind of have like the crowds there and the big atmosphere are like when you got like the final few teams, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So like the championship rounds and all that kind of stuff. But like all the prelims and the qualifiers and all that stuff, I actually think it's good if stuff goes more to an online route. I remember Pokemon a couple years back. They started announcing that some of their world tournament stuff, they were going to allow some of the qualifying stuff be online as well, which was kind of big because for a lot of that stuff, like people have to travel to get to these locations. You got to take time off of work. It costs money, all this stuff. And it's just way more convenient to be able to just sign up and then just make sure you're in front of your computer and have Wi-Fi working at a certain time. You know, I think it's awesome and allows more people to participate. Because a lot of folks don't have the ability to do that other stuff. So it's kind of almost like when Destiny said, you know, we're going to stop putting the raids on Fridays or Thursdays. And now when a new raid comes out, we'll put it on a Saturday because most people are off on a Saturday and they can all experience it. So that way the pool is bigger in terms of World's First. So like I'm always here for things that allow more folks to engage with it. The only thing about this is I almost kind of wish that this in particular was accompanied with a new, well thought out IP or some sort for like a new fighting game. You know, I mean, I would love something new on that front too. I think one of the reasons why it's not as big as it used to be is because this is another genre where you got a lot of people resting on a lot of nostalgia stuff. And I don't care how many times I have to say it. This stuff makes people stagnant. This stuff makes a lot of people not want to get to the next level in terms of what they need to be doing to keep people interested. So, like, for example, I'm not going to argue with the fact that I know that the community is there, like for Tekken and all these games, but there's a reason why they stay at the same size as they stay, and they never really truly grow anymore, you know? And it would be dope to see somebody really try to come out and tackle that side of things, because if they did, then this kind of announcement would be bigger to me, you know? Like, I don't get how somebody by now hasn't taken the whole fighting game thing and turned it into a way where, like, it's all, not necessarily a looter shooter, but a sense where you could build your own fighter and bring it online and fight other folks. Like, I don't get how people don't dig into that more, because I'm here for that. I think that's super cool, especially if it's in like a, I don't want to say rock'em sock'em robot kind of vibe, but you're essentially building a cyborg robot to go fight online with other folks. I'd be here for that all day. And you got to find parts and different abilities and different things like that in order to go online and do it. Something. There's got to be a way for like the fighting genre to be modernized, because like until then, to me, like this is again, it's a cool idea, but it's not anything that I'm like, oh, big win for Sony. Ooh, like we're talking about last week, Microsoft announces their partnership with Bethesda as the final, and then this Evo thing comes out. It's alright, but this ain't no big news. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's alright. It's alright.
Well, I'd ask you this though. I mean, the idea that Sony is investing in a fighting tournament, I mean, couldn't that be a signal that they're looking to, go ahead and build a fighting game of some sort?
Maybe.
Like now there's an investment in their bottom line for fighting games as a whole to be relevant, right? Like, if Evo is successful, it pays them back dividends. So
right.
Even if it's just from a marketing standpoint, like they would want fighting games to thrive. So, I think that's the importance of this, at least at some level, is okay, like this could mean something, right? Like Evo is obviously it is the biggest fighting tournament in the world, right? That's the one that people know. It's a pretty big esports thing anyways. It's constantly nominated for esports event of the year. So, it's not like it's small potatoes in that regard. So the fact that Sony's stepping up to say, all right, we want to purchase this and we want to invest in it, I'm hoping, that basically everything that you just outlined is exactly what they're working towards, right? Hopefully they have some studio somewhere in, out of all their 12 internal studios that they have going, that's trying to work on a fighting game to solve that exact problem that you're mentioning. I hope, at least, because you're right. Like, fighting games are stagnant. We're relying too much on the next Street Fighter, the next Mortal Kombat. There's not enough new stuff. I think Blaze Blue is a game that came out forever ago, and they still make a couple iterations of that game, but it flies under the radar. Nobody talks about it. I remember when we were doing the episodes talking about the nominations for the Game Awards, and the best fighting game came up, and it was Super Smash, Mortal Kombat, and then 3 other games that none of us knew about. Right? So, I'm really hoping that Sony steps up to the plate and gets us something new. I think we were talking about this in the pre-show area where we were hoping that, Killer Instinct could come back. I think Manny, you and I were talking about it earlier. I would love to get a new Killer Instinct, right? But Microsoft said that they don't have a studio to make that game. Like, I think it was made by the original one was made by Double Helix. Well, correction, not the original. The original Xbox version was made by Double Helix, and I think Double Helix got purchased by Amazon now. So, like, Microsoft doesn't really have a studio to make that. And it doesn't seem like they're necessarily working on trying to get a studio to do that. And that's largely because, that genre is not really as viable anymore. So hopefully we can get a resurgence at least. Hopefully we see something new. Because I definitely want a new fighting game.
Definitely. Like, I kind of wish. I'm sorry to cut you off. Like, that they kept on going with the Killer Instinct franchise. Like, I know they had Iron Galaxy, like, kind of like worked on the game when Double Helix left because of like, they're known for like porting games into like different consoles and stuff like that. But like, they had a good time. They added like people like General Ram or Ram, however you pronounce it, from Gears of War, as well as what is this dude's name? Arbiter. There we go. To add Arbiter. Like, they're adding like these, Xbox characters into this fighting game. It was pretty dope for a little bit, and then it's sad that they kind of had to like let it go. And like you said, it's just like the fighting genre just isn't there as it used to be. So, hopefully, I mean, maybe this will be like a wake up call for Mike. So I'll be like, okay, if Sony's doing something big here with the fighting franchise, then maybe do something with Killer Instinct. But
I mean, it's just it's a IP that's just sitting there, right? Like, why wouldn't you do something with it? So
untapped, bro.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
So untapped.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. And Phil Spencer, he's not like he's unaware of things like this, right? He's talked about it before that like I said, like there's just nobody there to make the game for him. But it even him just responding to it tells you that he knows, right? He knows it's something that people want. So, the hope is that maybe within the next couple of years, something turns up, whether it's a studio that wants to take up the mantle. I mean, Microsoft's still in the business of buying studios. So, maybe they might try to pull themselves a fighting game studio just for this reason alone. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what comes of it.
Same.
Whether it's Sony doing something or something has to come of this, right? Like Sony doesn't just do stuff like this for no reason. And I'm sure it could just be like, well, this is a smart business move because they probably got it on the cheap because of all the controversy from last year, because of COVID, so on and so forth. And it'll probably make them some more money down the road, even if they don't make a fighting game. But it at least tells you that Sony would at least be invested in the future of fighting games as a whole, even if they don't make their own IP. So we'll see. But speaking of Sony, and speaking of new IPs, apparently they're partnering with Jade Raymond to kind of back her new studio. It's kind of weird, fuzzy reporting on this because I saw a lot of companies talk, or a lot of news outlets talking about the fact that Sony themselves is starting this new studio. It's apparently not really the case, but at any rate, Haven Studio is getting established, just announced this week by Jade Raymond. For those of you who don't know, Jade Raymond used to work on a number of different publishers like EA, Ubisoft, so on and so forth. She's kind of the brain behind Assassin's Creed. She kind of started that franchise as a whole, and she just recently was working for Google, and we know what happened there with their game development. They let most of their game development studios go. So, she was one of those who got let go, and now it seems like she's moving on to starting her own independent studio that's backed by Sony. Weird wording, but whatever. So I'll actually read a little blurb that she posted on the PlayStation blog. Again, this whole concept to me sounds weird. Like, there's like a heavy partnership here with Sony, but yet they're an independent studio. Anyways, so I'll just read it off here. So she said, as of today, I'm announcing Haven, an independent studio where many of the talented game developers I have worked with for years and love dearly are coming together to do what we are most passionate about. It's time for us to refocus on games in a place where we can practice our crafts without any barriers or impediments. We want to create worlds where players can escape, have fun, express themselves, and find community. We want to pour our passion into a project. We want to make something wondrous for people to experience. And she goes on to say, together, we want to create games that are a haven, plan words, for players. And we want to build a studio that is a haven for developers. So while we don't have many details to announce today, I want the PlayStation community to know that Haven Studios is already hard at work at an unannounced IP. We can't wait to show you more. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, it's weird to me. I'm super excited to see what she's got going on though, because she's worked on a number of different things. She worked for EA, and she seemed like she kind of been jumping from project to project. Projects that had ended up being canceled, which I guess in a sense is a little concerning. But now that she's heading her own studio, independently, we'll see what comes of that. But she was apparently working for EA on I guess, an unannounced or unrevealed Star Wars project. Obviously, like we talked about beforehand, she was the one who created Assassin's Creed, and we know where that franchise has gone. So I'm excited to see what she's got coming up next. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but Annie, what do you think?
Hey man, a new game studio is always exciting for me for number of reasons, especially for a new IP that they said that they haven't announced yet. Who doesn't love new games, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's good that Sony's backing her up. As you said before, that like she used to work at Google and studio for Google. And we know how Google turned out. Sadly, Google wasn't the thing that we all thought it was going to be with the, new games for them and everything like that. But, it's good that, like maybe they're going to use their ideas that they have for that Google studio and probably still working on that IP for what they're doing now. And, like, it's funny because, like, I hope, like, they come out with a banging game and just, like, that's going to bite Google in the ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, where it's just like, this could have been your game, but you know what I'm saying? You kind of jumped the boat and, let us all drown, but, we good.
I don't think Google was ready to put in the effort that those like studios what they were. Because I bet you they had great content, but I don't know. I don't think Google knew what needed to happen to get that stuff off the ground.
Yeah, and like, who knows? Like you said, it's an independent studio, but like I wonder if like them, like Sony helping them out, meaning that is going to be just like another, like Sony exclusive game or not. But only time will tell, really. But sure. I'm excited, definitely. Like you said, the mastermind behind Assassin's Creed, so or one of the masterminds. So
it almost kind of seems like a very similar situation to Kojima Studio, because technically that's considered an independent studio, but because of all the goodwill that Kojima had with Sony, they went ahead and made Death Stranding an exclusive. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Chris, I want to get your take on this.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like, Manny said, it's always cool when you got a new studio come up because, if they come out with dope-ass games, then that's a plus for us. I might be reading too much into this, but I always kind of think when you see something where it says that you have an independent studio, but then they're getting backed by like this big name other entity, like I could be wrong, but it almost strikes me like Haven Studios wanted to make sure that they kept their independence, but then I don't know if Sony sees something that they got going on over there that makes them go, well, we want to make sure we're touching this in some way, shape, or form. So let us make sure we at least will back y'all at least a little bit. Even if y'all want to keep y'all independent name, whatever y'all got cooking over there, yeah, we got to make sure we need to make sure. So that, to me, I guess, gives me positive vibes, I would say. Because I just can't see, like, a big-time company like Sony or even Microsoft or anybody else, they're not going to just waste time with something that they don't believe in. Like, they're just not. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. So the fact that they have this janky, weird partnership tells me that they must have something on the horizon that must be pretty big, especially considering that they worked on Assassin's Creed in the past. Like that's a ginormous franchise. So this just makes me think that something's cooking over there, and Sony had to make sure that their hand was in the pot. That's the only way I could look at it.
It's almost weird to me because I always, when the news stories were first coming out, like I said earlier, they were talking a lot about like Sony being the ones who are forming the studio, but that's not really the case right now. It's just interesting because she obviously this whole situation with Google just happened, right? So she essentially just got laid off a couple months ago. Went ahead and started this new studio. Whatever game it is that is being created here, it's in its early stages, right? We're probably not going to see this game for another 4 years, 3 years maybe. So if Sony knows or has any idea of what this is, I'm wondering how much of it is they've seen things that they're really excited about, and maybe they're just taking assets from what got canceled over at Google. If that is the case, if Google doesn't own the IP, doesn't own the assets and all that stuff, then that's a different story, right? This game might be coming out in another 2 years or so.
Right. Yeah.
But if it's just from scratch and there's nothing really going on just yet, and it's all just an idea, Sony's really, really banking on Jade Raymond as an individual, right? Like as her name and the reputation that she's developed. Because I don't know, it seems interesting, and I guess in a way that's probably why they are just backing her as an independent studio as opposed to acquiring the studio themselves, because it gives them some autonomy and some room to say, all right, well, like this looks really good. We want this to be on PlayStation, so we'll give you $5 million more, to make it exclusive or whatever that happens to be. I don't know. I'm really interested to see how this all turns out. Obviously, like you guys mentioned, new IPs always good. We always talk about that all the time, right? Like we don't want sequels, we don't want remasters, we don't want remakes, we don't want to rehash the old content. We want new and original ideas. So
Mario.
So we're absolutely excited to see, what comes next with this. But it's just weird. Like it's weird to me to hear independent studio and then backed by Sony in the same sentence, and then also like her announcing this thing on the PlayStation blog. It's just weird to me. I don't know why, but
yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just can't see how this. Because, like, all right, if an independent studio needed the help, right? They need some. Then that's it. They would have just got the help and got bought out by somebody probably, and then did their thing. Every time I see a studio that wants to be independent and they fight for that, it's because they know they got something that they can, lay back on. It's like Bungie. Bungie would have never did the independent thing if they had no legs. It just wouldn't have made sense, And now it's a situation where maybe somebody else wants to put their hand in the pot a little bit too. But it's like you wouldn't be independent if you didn't have some shit. That's all I got to say. And then this is.
Although to your comment about Bungie, though, it does seem like. It seems like there's something there with Microsoft right now.
Yeah,
like whether
I kind of agree.
Yeah, whether it's like the rumor is that they're going to get acquired, which I'm past at this point. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but there's definitely something there. It seems like there's some partnerships going on. It obviously came to be that Destiny's in Game Pass, and Phil Spencer and the heads of Bungie are kind of. It seems like in constant communication. They're really buddy. So. At some level, I think Microsoft is helping them. Whether it's the
hand in the pot.
Yeah, hand in the pot. Hand in the pot. Yeah. So I guess if I was to compare it to anything, and it's a good thing that you brought that up. I guess that it sounds like it could be like this. Although obviously Bungie's way more established than this,
right? Whatever
this is. But yeah, definitely something to keep our eye on for sure. But yeah, speaking of Microsoft, we'll jump into our next topic here. So, got an announcement for another event coming this week. If you guys are watching it when we release. So, it's an ID at Xbox event here. It seems like they're partnering with Twitch Gaming. So, it's going to be on March the 25th, which is Thursday, right? So, yeah, they have, I think they said roughly 30 games that they want to show off, and independent games. in this ID at Xbox program. And they basically tease a lot of these announcements are going to be tied to Game Pass as well. So definitely good to see some new stuff coming into Game Pass. I'm really, really, really hoping. Man, I forget what the game is. It 7 minutes? Damn, I should have looked this up beforehand. They announced this game last year. They showed it off at their showcase in July, and it was like, oh my god, is it called 7 minutes? I'm gonna have to look that up. But yeah, it just seemed like a really interesting game where you like play out 7 minutes of this situation, and it seems like it happens in a loop over and over again. And they got a bunch of big names to like join into the game. It's made by Annapurna Studios. Man, can't remember. But either way, I'm super excited about this event. You know, just curious what you guys think about this one, because it's another chance for us to get some more Game Pass titles, right? So, Chris,
add to that Game Pass library.
Yeah, man.
It's Game Pass right now. Over the last like month and a half, especially, it's on fire. On fire, yo. Like, no, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's legitimately on fire. Like, we're talking about, like, I want to say it almost doubled in capacity over the last like 3 months after they did the whole EA partnership or whatever. Because now there's a shit ton of games in there from that. Now we're starting to see more of the little exclusives starting to trickle out here and there over the course of the year. You know, they even got, you know, Outriders announced on this stuff, and that's something else we were going to talk about. But like, there's a lot of momentum right now with Game Pass, and then, you know, it doesn't also hurt that, you know, it's hard to find an Xbox right now. It's hard to find an Xbox, probably more so than getting a PS5. And I think, you know, a lot of people are really starting to get on this train. Like my buddy at work that I converted, that I bring up every so often. If you ever watch him, buddy, I'm talking about you. Now that he's on the train and he's got a Series X, like he got a Series X before I got a Series X. That's some bullshit. But now that he's got it, he's always hitting me up every so often, like, bro, this shit really does pay for itself, huh? God damn. I was playing all kind of shit I would never even get to play. And that's the same stuff that we were talking about, you know, episodes back. So, you know, anything that's in regards to Game Pass getting more content is a plus. It's just continuing to grow and grow and grow. And I know, you know, Sony's trying to come up with whatever they can to kind of like combat that, but it's almost like it's too late. Like this thing called wildfire, bro, and like the fact that it's on PC too is, man, Sony would really have to come up with some wild shit to combat this, man. It's really starting to get to a place where if Halo and all the rest of that shit hits, man,
the train is rolling on Game Pass. So yeah, train is rolling. Manny, before I get your take on this though, I found the game. It's called 12 Minutes. So my fault there. But yeah, it's I'm just gonna read it off real quick. So 12 Minutes is about a man who's stuck in a time loop and mixes elements of different movies like The Shining and Memento to create an interactive thriller. That sentence right there. That sentence right there, bro. The Shining and Memento.
That jump scares, dude. Ooh.
Yeah, that's dope, bro.
What studio you say it was made from? Or like
Annapurna?
Annapurna?
Yep.
And I think that's one of those Annapurna. They're gonna be there. So
yes. I want to see it, man. And they
gave us
they gave us a little update in August, and apparently like now when they first announced it at Microsoft Showcase, we didn't have as much information, but then they updated us with some new castings. So they got James McAvoy, who played Professor X in the X-Men series.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Daisy Ridley, who everybody knows as Rey from Star Wars, and then William Dafoe. It's just like those are three like huge names right now.
Yeah, big names.
Are you sure this is an indie game, not a AAA title?
Yo, it feels like it, right?
Think those are some expensive people to
for
buy.
real. Yeah. But yo, that game looks dope. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure to check out the trailer. I'm probably gonna try to put some footage up on it right now so you guys can see. But yeah, the concept of it seems really interesting. So yeah, sorry, not to derail everything here, but
you're all good because like, you know, I mean, you know, in any video game event, you know, of course we're excited for, especially, you know, something Microsoft, because we know something Microsoft is going to be on Game Pass, or some of it is going to be on Game Pass. And how you excited for that 12-minute game where it's like, what I'm saying? Like, what I love about Xbox, Microsoft with the Game Pass is how they just give everybody the opportunity to be like, okay, it's on Game Pass. It's free to download. All you have to do is just obviously pay the subscription, and you get to try these games out for free. It's basically like like a plus for us as gamers, and a plus for these small indie studios where they're trying their best to push the game out, and people might be like, I don't want to spend $5-10 on the games, and even now sometimes even $20 on these games. But then it's like you see the response from the community on like these Game Pass games, and how like some of these games, like if that's 12 minutes game you're talking about, what I'm saying, get like a lot of positive feedback from people playing on Game Pass. Now it could turn something from like an indie game to like like a AAA title where it's just like something huge, and even Microsoft can just come in, swoop. Oh, how about you come off? We'll buy you. Here's an offer, and next to know this Xbox exclusive type of thing. You know what I'm saying? That's how like these big companies happen because of like indie games, and I love the support that Microsoft does with indie games, because it's like especially like a lot of Game Pass titles. There's like a lot of indie games that you probably would never play if it was just like something on the store you see. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm definitely excited to see what titles they have to showcase on the 25th.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it, right? Like, there's a lot of indie titles that would probably never get the light of day if they weren't on Game Pass, right? Like, they have their smaller following, but they wouldn't get as much attention. And it gives these studios who are making games a chance to kind of breathe a sigh of relief, right? Because Microsoft has kind of paid them up front, for the ability to be on the service. They still get whatever revenue that they, that gets created from people purchasing the game or purchasing, skins or other DLC packs or whatever it may be. You also incentivize people to buy the game, because if you have Game Pass, and you decide you really like a game and it's leaving Game Pass or whatever, what have you, you can buy it and then you get a 10% discount by having Game Pass. So like, there's a lot of benefits for people. And one thing that we haven't really talked about yet is Microsoft announced that Outriders will actually be on Game Pass day and date. So, April 1st, when the game comes out, it'll be in Game Pass. So Microsoft shelled out some money for that game. We talked about it before. Personally, I still don't like the game. I went back and tried the demo, tried to really hammer it home a little bit. I enjoy running around mindlessly with a shotgun in that game and using the I forgot what the class is, but it's like blue and you can like dash behind somebody. What's it? Trickster? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the class I decided to go with. So I have a little bit of fun with the game, but overall, like, I feel like it's not really like it's not really it for me. But if it's gonna be in Game Pass, I'm definitely gonna download it and I'm gonna play a little bit more of it, and maybe they might win me over. That's already one extra person that is going to download and play the game than they had before him, because I wasn't gonna shell out $60 for that game. Straight up. And I mentioned a couple episodes ago, I just wasn't going to do it. But now there's no risk for me, and there's less risk for the developers, right? They got a ton of money up front, and I'm sure that at some level this might be a reaction to what people were saying on the demo. And Microsoft probably came around and said, hey, here's a bunch of money. Like, let's put this in Game Pass day and date. And essentially this works out to be kind of an experiment for Microsoft, right? Because if this really pops off and the game blows up and gets a lot of extra attention because of the fact that it's so accessible for people in Game Pass, now, when Capcom comes out with their version of some looter shooter or whatever, they're going to be like, hey, Microsoft, hey, give me some money. Like, let's put this in the service. Like, we want to be at the table too, Like, we want our chance to be on the service and get all this attention and then still make all the extra money that we would make from people buying our game on other platforms. So I think this is definitely something that can lead to more bigger and better things. We already know that Microsoft's going to be putting all their first party stuff on the service day and date, but we haven't really seen as many third party AAAs. And this is, even though I hate calling it a AAA because I don't think it's that quality of a game, it is considered a AAA title based off of the amount of money they spent on it. But it's our first third-party AAA game that's coming day and date, and I hope that we'll see more of that.
Definitely,
yeah, man. Netflix of gaming, y'all.
And it's not an April Fool's joke because he said April 1st, so don't.
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to this April Fools in particular because the industry's so wild right now. There's already all these crazy things that are happening. Like back in September when Microsoft announced that they were buying Bethesda, like I remember like looking at my screen, I was like, oh what? I wiped my eyes. I'm like, no way this is real. I guarantee you there's going to be some other crazy ass thing that happens April 1st that turns out to be real, and they're going to use it as an opportunity to be like, this is so crazy, we had to announce it before. Like, I bet you some shit like that's going to happen. And then there's going to be a million other rumors or
Jokes.
Crazy stories that are fake. They're going to piss me off. The pipe dreams that we all wish would happen. But
yeah, I know this is random, but I remember last year when, like, as an April Fool's joke, everybody was like Tekashi's out of prison, and next thing you know, the next day he's out of prison, and it's like, oh, this ain't a joke.
Is it a joke? Oh man, yo, I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen this year, and especially considering we're still in the middle of what we're in the middle of, and like we're dealing with more online stuff than ever. It's just gonna be like there's gonna be crazy ass stories, and we're gonna, is this real? Is it not real? And like half of it's gonna be real and crazy, and half of it's gonna be fake and pissed. But oh well. But yeah. Anybody else got anything to add on that idea at Xbox event before we move on?
Nah.
Excited to watch.
Yeah, can't wait to see what happens.
Yes, sir. We'll definitely be talking about it next week. Make sure to tune in, guys. But yeah, speaking of something that did happen last week, though, an event that happened last week, and I told you guys, by the way, last week, I have a feeling we're gonna get some events like back to back, like week after week, and it's starting to kind of shape up that way. But yeah, so the Square Enix event happened last week. And, we got a number of announcements, number of different things happened, but I want to start on the Avengers because, we talked about it, the next gen upgrades happened. A lot of freaking controversy around this next gen upgrade path situation for PlayStation owners in particular. We always talk about Xbox and how they're doing such a good job with this generation and how they've set up all these different things with backwards compatibility and FPS boost and auto HDR and smart delivery, all these things that sound like buzzwords, but like they actually mean something here. So to recap, for those of you who don't know what smart delivery is, if you buy a game that was on the Xbox One and the developer decides that they're gonna go ahead and push out updates to the next generation to basically make the game a next generation version of the game. So in this instance, Avengers, you don't have to do anything other than just own the game. The Xbox will automatically update it for you, automatically give you the assets that you need. Your save files will transfer over. It's nice. It's seamless. It's beautiful. Like almost every game works this way. So for the longest time, a lot of people on the Sony side of things said, oh, well, of course Sony's got their version of that. They just don't have to brand it. They don't have to give it a fancy buzzword. And honestly, for a while, I thought that was true. I was one of those people who was kind of skeptical about the idea of like, why do they have to call it smart delivery? Like it is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. Sure enough, that's not the case as we've seen this week with Avengers, right? So again, for those who don't know, basically if you own Avengers on PlayStation 4, and you're trying to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version, in order to transfer your save file, you have to have both versions of the game downloaded on your PS5. We all know how much of a challenge that already is because you have an 825 gig hard drive, so you don't even have a full terabyte. But anyways, you got to do that. Then you have to go onto the PlayStation 4 version, and then you have to upload your save file to Sony's server, or maybe it's Square Enix's server or whatever, and then go to the PlayStation 5 version and then download it. There's been a ton of controversy because some people, well, A, that process alone is kind of ridiculous. B, a lot of people are actually losing their save files because of this, getting some corruption and different things like that. But, it's highlighting more and more how smart Microsoft was about approaching this whole situation. having it be that all these things are happening on the back end. Cloud save was already built in from day one, so that you don't have to upload your save file anywhere along those lines. And you have the compatibility just happening again in the background. It knows, oh, hey, there's a better version of this game out. Now I have an Xbox Series X that supports that better version. I'm just going to go out, grab the assets, and boom. Now I have a 4K 60 frames per second version of this game with ray tracing and yada, yada, yada. And my save file still works. And I didn't have to think about it at all. And whereas on the PlayStation side, we know how that's going. And, Manny, I'm sure you can attest to this because even just you transferring over your PlayStation 4 save files of other PlayStation 4 games was been a massive headache, right? You lost your whole Last of Us game save, and it's something that we talked about before. So, yeah, with that being said, I'll let you start off. What do you think about this story in particular with smart delivery and Avengers and all that jazz?
PlayStation trying to do everything next gen with the controller, the way the PlayStation look. But, the cloud saving is terrible, man. Like I said, with the whole spiel of me having to lose my save file for Last of Us 2 and that thing, I'm past that, sadly. I'm still not able to beat the game, and I don't even feel like playing the game all over again. But like even with the whole Marvel Avengers situation, like the fact that you have to download both versions, and we already know like the console itself is only 100 gigabytes, and some of that is already taken out because you're not going to get the full 800 gigabytes out the box. And then, like, if, a game nowadays is like 100 gigabytes on the PS5 or Xbox Series X. So the fact that I have to, possibly even have to delete a game just so I can even download both versions just to do this save transfer is already a hassle itself. So,
shit. And if you have Warzone on your system, Warzone already taken up half that hard drive there, bro.
And it's like, it sucks too because the cloud is like one of those things too you have to pay for on the PlayStation side, while Microsoft offers it for free. Since back in like the Xbox 360 days, like it's just crazy how like people take advantage of these kind of things, or like don't realize how beneficial this cloud is for the Microsoft side, whereas like like you mentioned, you just click on the game and it says, "Oh, you have an upgrade available. Would you like to download the upgrade?" You download it. You don't have to worry about saving the the previous generation version of the game. You can just the save transfers itself through the cloud, and it's just so easy. Like it's just seamless. For as a PlayStation side, you have to just do the step-by-step thing, and even have some situations where people lost their save data, and it just shows that. Maybe the smart delivery smart after all. Yeah. So, yeah, that's why I'm glad. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm glad that my main console's the Xbox, and that the PlayStation, I only play for the exclusives now. So,
yeah, man. Chris, what do you think about the story, man?
I guess I'm gonna be a little bit more harsh here, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's unacceptable. Like I just have to say it like that. Because. Come on, man. It's 2021, and there's a lot of flack that I give to like Nintendo and a couple other places for like not having their shit together on a software technical standpoint. So like my thing is, y'all knew y'all was dropping a console in between the last gen and the next gen, and wanted to still be able to make games that could do both and be able to kind of support both platforms. Okay, you telling me you guys didn't test any of this? You didn't do any experimentation with this system before releasing this to the public that made you go, "Oh, this shit don't work." I'm hard pressed to believe that they experienced this during their testing and said, "Oh yeah, this is perfect. Get it out there." Come on, yo, like dog, like.
I think you're assuming they'd even tested for that, right? Because it sounds like that wasn't even on their radar.
That was the next thing. Yeah, because I'm like, yo, did they even test? Because how do you not? Come on! Like, how is this? How do you not? Like, come on, man. Like, it's 2021. If Microsoft had did the same thing, I would be giving them flack for this too. It just doesn't make sense. Y'all knew what kind of console y'all was dropping, and you knew that developers were trying to make games that could also play on this one and then be upscaled to the next thing. You guys knew that this was a thing ahead of time. I can't make an excuse for them saying why this is a thing. I don't know why it's like this. I don't know how it got like this. All I can say is that somebody somewhere over in Sony's end had to have this go over their desk. Like it had to be on somebody's desk, bro. Like it had to. How? Come on, man. Like I can't give them a pass on this one. I'm sorry. This is shitty that my guy lost his save file. It's shitty that you got to worry about having enough space on your hard drive to download 2 versions of a game just to get your save file sent. Like this is like that's some rudimentary shit. Like let's keep it a buck, man. Let's keep it a buck. Come on, man. Y'all asking folks who maybe are not the most technically savvy, because let's be real, just because people own a big piece of hardware like a PS5 or a Microsoft Xbox Series X doesn't mean that they're the most technically inclined people in the world, right? And you're asking them to do this not only with this game, but then what's the next game that you got to do this with? What's the next game you got to do this with? That is the what is that word for the opposite? The fancy word for opposite? Antithesis? Is that it? Yeah. There you go. This is the antithesis of convenience. It's bad, bro. And then like Goop saying, man, it kind of make the whole smart delivery phrasing look so much better. That y'all gave Microsoft a layup with this one. I kind of feel. You know what I mean? Like, all this did was show that Microsoft thought 3 steps ahead of everybody else, and they planned for this. The only thing it seems like, honest to God, and I hate to sound like I'm bashing Sony, the controller was their one saving grace. That and their exclusives. And the controller doesn't even seem like it's a big talking point anymore in terms of, oh, I'm blurry. Sorry, y'all. It doesn't seem like it's a big talking point anymore in terms of the things that are like making people go and buy the console. So at this point, it's like it's the exclusives, right? But you're telling me Microsoft has exclusives on the way that look kind of crazy, and then all these other convenient things, like that is like how are y'all still out here buying these? Like for real though, like come on, man! Like how many more things have to happen for y'all to just finally say, you know what, yo? All right, yo, I'm gonna just go get. Like at this point, like it's almost like, regardless of how you feel about Sony or Microsoft and whether you're a fanboy or not, I personally have my brands that I like, yeah, but don't get shit twisted. I'm not 100% loyal to none of these fucking technology brands at all. If something came out one day, the next day by Apple that was completely undeniable, and you know how I don't fuck with Apple, but if they came out with something that was just like undeniable, your boy would go get an iPhone. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But they haven't done anything that crazy yet to make me say I can leave Android alone. But don't get it twisted. They come out with some hotness now. Your boy looking, you know. And this is just how I feel when it comes to this stuff. It's like, what are y'all doing, man? Dog, no excuse. Y'all not getting one from me. Y'all not even getting an inch on this one from me. Somebody okayed this over in Sony. Somebody did. And I'm nope.
But the one thing I do want to say is you're saying somebody okayed this. I don't think it wasn't. It didn't even get to that point. Is what I'm saying. I don't even think that was like it wasn't even a blip on their radar, bro. Because the way that they talked about how so let's take a couple steps back, right? So around this time last year, to Sony kind of bashing Microsoft in subtle ways about, we believe in generations, and, we believe that there's value in, not having game, basically without saying it. Their exact quote was, "We believe in generations." And in that quote, they were trying to say, hey, we believe that, if you upgrade to a PS5, like that's a specific experience. It has its own set of games. We're not going to do cross play. Well, not cross play, but, cross buy with certain games. So there's not going to be a PlayStation 4 version of Miles Morales and yada yada yada. Fast forward some time, sure enough, there was a PlayStation 4 version of Miles Morales, and then a PlayStation 5 version. There's conversations around the fact that the new Horizon is going to be on PlayStation 4 as well. So also God of War may also be on PlayStation 4. So like, you wanted to talk about and use your position as a way to bash Microsoft to say, okay, like we are, this is what we do. We believe in having an exclusive console, and we don't care about this, crossing generations and yada, 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 yada. and now like you reneged on all of those things, and then you also didn't put the services in place to make those experiences seamless for your customers. And it's like, come on, you guys got to answer to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it leans more into the conversation that we had a couple weeks ago about, you know, Xbox, is it the best place to play, right? That Kotaku article that came out. And I think the same person who wrote that article wrote another article on Kotaku about this particular situation with smart delivery and what. It's just all these little things, all these little choices that Microsoft has made. It seems to be paying off in dividends right now. And I think people are definitely taking notice, right? You know, we were talking about this earlier. Paul Tassi, who's a guy that I believe he's a writer for Forbes, but he also is kind of doing some content creation stuff now. He mainly makes Destiny videos. He also has been dabbling in some Avengers videos. But he tweeted out, you know, he plays he plays PlayStation almost exclusively, and he tweeted out that this experience may force him to really look at using his Series X more, you know, with the exception of Destiny, but really just using a Series X more for these types of experiences because of how much better it is on Microsoft's platform. So you know, at some level, Sony's got to like wake up and understand, like, hey, like we're losing some people for this stuff. You know, we talked about Game Pass. We talked about the value that it creates, right? Again, another one of those things on top of the entire cherry pie that is Xbox right now, right? You know, Chris, you talked about your friend, your coworker who jumped on from PlayStation to Xbox. I have a friend as well who, you know, shout out Adam if you're watching, shout out to you. But you know, he's trying to get an Xbox Series X right now, and he was a staunch PlayStation support. You know, and it's one of those things where he said to me, you know, it's hard to deny the value that I'm getting out of Game Pass and all the games that he could play and all the different things that he can do. Yeah, I don't know. So Sony's got to start waking up to some of this stuff, right? Like their exclusives, bar none, are amazing, but it's getting to that point where that might not matter anymore. Like the exclusives will still matter, but you won't be the only place with like amazing exclusives, right? Like Bethesda's coming. Like all these Bethesda games are going to, like Starfield's going to be exclusive. Like as much as nobody wants to talk about that, it's going to happen. So now you have Starfield. Like that's a high level exclusive game. We still have Halo, high level exclusive. We have Forza, we have Gears, we have all these other things, Fable, all the other games that inXile is making, and Obsidian, and all these other studios that are coming together. Like their exclusives are coming. So there's only so much of that you can rest on. Like what else is Sony going to rest on at this point? I mean, what, PlayStation VR? Like, yeah, we know this week they announced some new stuff about PlayStation VR, but like, you know, VR is not for everybody. That's not going to be enough. So,
And as soon as Microsoft comes out with like their version of one of them haptic feedback controllers, like how the PS5 did, but like they're probably gonna take their controller, break it down, see what they could tweak, make it better, and then give it out to us. As soon as that happens, yeah, they ain't really nothing else to really argue about. You're talking about giving people elite hardware, elite software, and then the controller on top of that is just leaps and bounds, and hopefully doesn't break as fast and get drift like the other one does. Like, dude, nah. After you start getting Halo and a couple of these other games to start coming out and they hit like how they supposed to, ain't nothing to even worry about, man. Ain't nothing you worry about, man. Ain't nothing, man. Be straight.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say I'm gonna still have both.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Xbox is gonna be the place to play for me with all these different things that are happening. But kind of went off on a little tangent here. The main topic was still the Square Enix conference. So, you know, we talked about Avengers a little bit. We went real far left on that one.
Yeah, but, we did.
But another positive thing that came out with the Avengers situation is that they did finally give us like a roadmap of where things are to come. You know, so they released this new Hawkeye expansion with this next gen upgrade. So that's good, and definitely looking to dive into that once I finish up the main story. But then, yeah, we also got Black Panther. That's coming later this year. And you can't mess with Black Panther. They need to come correct because it's Black Panther, man. He's up there right now. Like he's beloved in a way. He's not there yet, but he's like approaching like Spider-Man territory because of that movie and what it's meant to so many different people now. Like he's like in the forefront of people's minds. People are like, oh, Black Panther, yeah, that's badass. I want to play as him. I'm gonna go pick up that game to play as him. So yeah, they need to come correct. This is their opportunity to make things right. And I like the game so far. Especially with the next gen enhancements, I'm really having a lot of fun with it. I think it's still on sale for $30 if you guys wanted to check it out, half price. Yeah, and it looks like they're getting themselves together. They're trying to right their wrongs and make the game a better game. So I'm happy to see it. I'm looking forward to where they go next. But we'll move on to the other things here. So I'll just kind of run off the whole list of things that were announced at this conference here. So they dabbled on Tomb Raider. They basically said that, as Manny had mentioned, that they're gonna go ahead and remaster the trilogy, the most recent trilogy of games. So I think it's Tomb Raider, then Rise of Tomb Raider, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So all three of those games are going to get put together in a package and remastered in 4K, hopefully 60 frames, getting all the nice bump that the next gen systems afford them. So that's good to see. And they announced a couple mobile games as well. I think it was Just Cause Mobile. They also announced like a Hitman inspired game. It had a weird working title, so I don't want to dwell on it too much, but kind of like a sniper co-op mobile game. Kind of weird. But it is what it is. Balan Wonderworld, another one that they talked about a little bit more. And I actually didn't realize this, but they've had a demo out for that game since January. So I need to go download that.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I need to go download that. Made by the same person who made Sonic and Knights back in the day. So you can definitely see some of that influence when you're from the trailers that came out. A little too kid friendly for me, but still open to it. Still looking forward to seeing more on that game for sure. Then we get a new Life is Strange, True Colors. Now that's a franchise that I actually really like. The original Life is Strange and Life is Strange 2 are actually on sale as well on the Xbox store, so I went ahead and picked that up earlier this week to play that with my wife.
I didn't know.
Yeah, definitely get to check that out. I think the original ones might be like $6. The second one might be $12. So
that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, definitely something to check out. But the heavy hitter, in my opinion, and this hurts because it's a PlayStation exclusive, but Project Athea, they finally announced it. They finally revealed its real name, I should say. It's called Forspoken. Bro, can we talk about this game? It looks beautiful. First off. And we haven't really seen too much of it, but something about the way they showed off like the traversal and all that stuff, it just looks really cool. And they got the actress from the most recent Charlie's Angels movie. She's beautiful. So any chance we get to see her and hear her talk, I'm here for that. Just saying. But yeah, it's interesting. I want to hear what you guys think about it though. I'm stop talking right now. So Chris, start it off for us.
Yeah, I mean the game looks amazing in terms of graphics for sure. But then again, Square Enix is never really. You know what? Let me shut up. I was about to put my foot in my mouth. I was gonna say Square Enix is usually pretty good with their graphics, and then I'm thinking about Outriders, and I'm like, Outriders is like
Outriders kind of iffy.
Yeah, a little rough. For the most part, Square Enix is pretty good with their graphics. Yeah. So Ben, here it kind of shows. I'm just scared. Hopefully, it's not one of those things where Square Enix is very good at giving you amazing cutscenes, and then you get to the actual graphics, and then it's like really scaled down. But them cutscenes are pristine; like they look great. So I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be something like that, but outside of all of that, this game looks cool. I mean, it looks different. It seems like they definitely got some good voice acting and all that kind of stuff going on in there. Yeah, not too high, not too low on this. I'm just excited again. New IPs and stuff like that, I'm always here for. And I don't know, Square Enix is taking some risks, man. I'm really liking what they're doing in terms of. It just seems like they're kind of steering away from being just the Final Fantasy company, which I like. I'm very much here for companies trying to try new things. And for the longest, it was Square Enix was associated with me for Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. That's it. So this is cool. I'm here for this. I wish more companies would be doing stuff like this. And yeah, it being a PlayStation exclusive kind of sucks because Lord knows I'm gonna get a PS5. I'm gonna get one eventually, but I'm not in a major rush to do it.
Yeah, I would have to assume this is gonna be a timed exclusive, right?
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah, because what's the point of keeping it exclusive? long term. If I'm Square Enix, like I don't care how much money Sony's giving me. To keep it exclusive forever is kind of weird. So I'm thinking it's probably time to. Yeah. But yeah, one thing I just want to say real quick, even to your point about them moving away from being like the Final Fantasy company, the format of that conference felt very different to me. Like it felt like really like modern. Like they're definitely trying to be a different company, and I'm definitely here for it too. I like a lot of the stuff that they showed, even the mobile stuff. Like even though I'm not a big like mobile gamer, like it was interesting, right? Like they're definitely coming for their piece of the pie. So I think it's smart.
They're actually doing what we always are getting on other devs for not doing. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not being stagnant. I can't sit here and say Square Enix is just resting on their laurels, which they were for a while. But somebody, I don't know if they've had like some new staff or somebody's taken over in another department somewhere, or don't know. But it's definitely like a winds of change kind of vibe I'm getting from Square Enix, and so far so good. See what happens.
Yes, sir. Manny, what did you think about the conference?
Yeah, I mean, Forspoken, I guess, has spoken to me about wanting me to buy this game. No, let me stop. But on a serious note, the game definitely looks beautiful. Just like even looking at the trailer, just the environment and like how massive the world looks. And just like, just on these little snippets of the characters just running around, you see how like huge the environment is. Now I just hope it's not one of those things where the environment is dead, because that would be kind of a bummer. But I mean, just like being able to just like see the character run around so like fluently and like on these environments, climbing up rocks, just running in these fields and everything like that. Like it just looks like it's gonna be like a really dope adventure game type of thing, where it's just like, I really have high hopes for this game. This game really do look amazing. I mean, he's talking about like see like dragons in the trailer and stuff like that, fighting all these big things. So like, I'm expecting like a massive game. And you know what I'm saying? I'm putting these high expectations, you know what I'm saying, especially for PlayStation exclusive, you know what I'm saying? Because like PlayStation exclusive always have like those good story games. So I'm hoping for a great story. That's like one thing I'm excited for. Like you said, Square Enix known for their Final Fantasy, finally doing something new. So I'm, definitely glad that they're not, doing another Final Fantasy, because, who wants that nowadays, pretty much.
Remaster.
They're going to do their 16th, 17th game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, put it down for now. You know what I'm saying?
Something different for sure.
Yeah, so I'm glad that they're doing something new, and, definitely excited to pick it up when the game comes out in 2022.
2022. Good point.
I know it's so far.
It feels far. It feels far for sure. But yeah, I just want to know more about the game. Like I'm like everything that I saw spoke to me. Right, you can tell like there's some magic going on, because like you can tell she's like casting some sort of spell in one of the scenes. Obviously, the traversal looks really interesting. I hope it doesn't look cheesy necessarily, but from what I saw, it didn't. And also, Chris, you made a point about how their cutscenes look really good, but the gameplay looks diminished. I actually think from what I saw, it was kind of the opposite. Because the moment where they showed off the girl hiding behind the pillar, and then, is the dragon gone yet? I was like, oh, that doesn't look too good. But then when they showed off the game, like running, like actually showing her running in the world and spinning and then casting the spell and all that stuff, I was like, oh, this looks very good. I want every part of this. So... yeah, I'm hoping they really find a way to flex the muscles of the PS5, pull off some ray tracing. I know ray tracing on the PS5 has been a wonky topic as far as how it's set up, but whatever. I want a good game. I want a new franchise, and this is something that we can all fall in love with. So I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Hey, yes, sir.
All right. So anyone else got anything to add on the Square Enix event before we wrap it up?
No, I just want them to keep doing more of this. More of the same. Don't be afraid to. Hopefully this is kind of how they're feeling. Even with the bad stuff that people were saying about Outriders demo when it first launched, even though I feel like some of it subsided as time passed. But even with all that being said, you see how this company is taking these risks and they're trying new things, and then if it doesn't work out, at the very end of the day, they could just look and say, "All right, just throw it in Game Pass." Because of you seeing people do this kind of stuff, I wish more devs would like look at it and not be as scared to take these risks too. Because like I get it if you're like just starting out or you're an indie dev or something like that, then sure. But more of the folks that are like in the same boat as a Square Enix, where they're reputable and people know them, like yeah, by now, like you should be feeling okay to take certain risks in terms of games that you want to try to make, because like we've been saying, like there's not really much of a negative unless the game sucks. Because sometimes it's not always about just the game sucking or not. Sometimes people just don't want to spend $60 on a game, like you were saying. So it's just like, yeah, man, come on, guys, keep it moving. Other people start doing the same thing a little bit, and let's go. It's good stuff.
Definitely.
And to your point about, again, talking about Game Pass, like it works in so many different realms of the spectrum, right? If you are a Square Enix, who's an established company, in theory, you have enough money to take risk, but you're a publicly traded company and there are shareholders you have to answer to. So if you take that risk by developing a game and it doesn't shape up to be what you think it's going to be, you can always put it in Game Pass. That's a number of people, Microsoft will be giving you money up front. There's a chance that people will be willing to buy the game because they're exposed to it. So you win there. If you're a new company, new indie developer just starting out, you need exposure, you need marketing essentially. So Game Pass is your marketing. You strike some sort of deal with Microsoft to say, hey, like I need help marketing the game and I need to put it in Game Pass. So now again, people have a chance to try the game with no risk. It works no matter where you are in the spectrum. It just is. The numbers don't lie as far as how this is all shaping up, right? The last time they reported it, they had 18 million subscribers. I'm sure at this point it's probably past 20, maybe a little bit more than that right now. And Microsoft is they're working hard to like get this going. And this is the final point I'll make because going over a little bit. But they're teasing that this is coming to iOS and web, Game Pass itself coming to iOS and web soon, through XCloud and all that stuff. So like being able to actually have people play a lot of these Game Pass games through XCloud without the need for a system, like they're coming for every screen that you own.
Yeah, that's bugged, man.
It's gonna be on your PC, right? It's on a laptop or whatever, being able to stream the games. It's good. They're going to put it on smart TVs. Like they're trying to make this so ubiquitous that anybody who wants to play an Xbox game or wants to play games, through XCloud, like they have an opportunity to do so without ever having to buy an Xbox system. As long as you subscribe to the service, you're good to go. So yeah, I think this is going to be huge. It's definitely something that people need to be paying attention to. I mean, I think the whole industry is, right? Like, everybody understands what this is, and some people are trying to figure out where they want to dive in, when they want to dive in. But I think this is something that other publishers and developers need to embrace with open arms, and just move us forward for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, boys. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here for sure. It was a great conversation. Definitely had a lot to talk about this week. Guys, for you watching and listening, make sure to reach out to us. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below for, your opinions on what we talked about this week for sure. But before we go, as we always do, Manny, start us off. Where can the people find you?
You already know, twitch.tv/JukeMasterFlex. Instagram and Twitter is GoodMasterFlex_TTV. If you know what that means, the MM beans, keeping it real. Now let me stop.
All right, Chris, where can the people find you, bro?
Y'all already know I am on everything at MAY25THXX. Again, on everything, and it wouldn't be a plug of mine if I didn't also just mention to the good folks out there that I be pen paddling and shit. So like, hit a brother Gmail. I don't know. Hey, listen, what's the homie name that sent the rogue party invite? The deleter. Deleter. Is that y'all? That's you? That was you? We could not figure out. So, all right, just context, y'all. Some random person. Oh, sorry. This random person sent both Denzel and I guess, group party chat invites randomly on Xbox, and we assumed that maybe it was a viewer, maybe because we don't know who it is. But Deleter, if it's you, I'll be pen paling. All
right, word. Well, for me, you can find me everywhere at Black Ice 8, as we talked about earlier. Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Twitter, Twitch, pretty much everywhere. Again, the only difference is on Instagram, it's going to be Black Ice 8_gaming. So make sure to check us out. Also, check us out on our Instagram at XPackPod. We're posting content there pretty regularly, so make sure to interact with us there. We'll check you guys out next week. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.